Welcome to Action Screenplay number 8. In this edition, we'll be seeing reviews of the latest big games like F-29 Retaliator and Escape from Singe's Castle, plus hints and tips on smash hits like Midwinter and X Out, and looking back at all-time classic games like Paperboy. So hang on tight, here comes the action. Jumping Jack's Son. Jumping Jack's Son is the new original concept game from Infogrames. It is his mission in life to save the world from boring classical music because he is the son of Jumping Jack Flash. Yes, our hero is the offspring of a person from a rock and roll song. Jack must find the last remaining record by Elvis, which for the purposes of the plot of this game has been hidden in a maze guarded by classical musical instruments. It's a sort of Blue Hawaii and Yellow Submarine meets Pac-Man, really. On his way through the maze, he must also discover all the other records made by Elvis. But surely, Elvis never recorded Jumping Jack Flash, did he? Anyway, Jack doesn't know this, so he happily trots around the maze looking for the lost platters. It's a fun game devoid of any serious message whatsoever, except for the fact that anyone who doesn't like rock and roll must be a boring person, which in fact is probably true. Cyberball. American football games come and go, but few arrived with such a bang as Cyberball from Domar. This is a conversion of the popular Atari Tengen coin-op game, which is a sort of cross between TV sports football and speedball. This is football in the 21st century, with human players being replaced by cyborgs, in other words, humans with robot parts added. They run on tough caterpillar tracks, they stand 5 times taller than a man, and their arms are telescopic toughened steel. Nobody gets hurt in this game, they just get repaired. As team manager, you select the plays and control your players via the joystick as they beat their way to the top of the league in the Cyber Bowl. The game is chock full of graphics and sounds and really plays very well. It's almost a little sci-fi movie in itself, which draws you into its own world. Tremendous fun.
Ivanhoe. This arcade-style sensation will be storming your way this Christmas. Based on the legendary hero, you will be confronted by all manner of human and mythical creatures as you fight your way through many screens of adventure. In a horizontally scrolling game, Ivanhoe, armed initially with a sword and basic armor, must defeat wizards, pirates, dragons, hunters, and many other characters in order to complete his quest. Along the way, he will find a variety of weapons and shields to assist him, as well as his trusty steed, Stinger, a horse which can run like the wind both towards and usually away from danger. The superb animation has been designed by the cartoonist who worked on the Asterix movie. Bringing those talents to a computer game creates a visual impact as yet unseen in the media of interactive entertainment. Ivanhoe, a fantasy from history brought to life today.
It's official. There's only one authorised World Cup soccer game, and it's brought to you from Virgin Games. Get ready for World Cup Soccer Italia 90, the official game of the world-class soccer tournament. World Cup Soccer 90 Italia features a bird's-eye view of the pitch with on-screen score and adjustable match timer. The game comes complete with a referee who will award free kicks, penalties, corners, goal kicks and throw-ins. The referee even has a digitised whistle sound. Play a clean game, or you could find the referee has awarded you a red card and sent you off. World Cup Soccer Italia 90 from Virgin Games has a 2-player feature as well as the World Cup games. The game features a high score table, an amazing attract mode sequence. In fact, everything you'd expect from this excellent arcade conversion. Available for the Atari ST, AMIGA, IBM PC, Spectrum, Commodore and Amstrad, World Cup Soccer Italia is the World Cup football game for your games collection. Buy it today.
Highway Patrol 2. Chasing robbers is never easy, but in Highway Patrol 2 from Infogrames it's harder still. You are a rookie cop whose job is, of course, to arrest crooks. You must also be a good cop and don't shoot before you're shot at. As you chase the band of gangsters across the desert, you must spot them and try to head them off if you can. HQ will notify you of their position at regular intervals to help you tell the baddies from the goodies. Highway Patrol 2 is described in the write-ups as a 3D race game simulator, and it's certainly that. As well as the disc, you get a map in the box too, which enables you to find where you're supposed to be quickly and easily. The map is easy to follow, as like most places in America, the roads are basically just a grid across the desert. The graphics and animation are smooth, and the sound's good, if a little distorted. The gameplay is a little boring after a while though, so in the end the game becomes just driving around. Power up. This compilation by Impressions comprises Cosmic Pirate, Kenny Dalglish Soccer Manager, and Chariots of Wrath. Cosmic Pirate, originally released on the Palace Outlaw label, is a super shoot-'em-up arcade game in outer space. You work for a government who run various big space stations, and after perfecting your skills on simulators, you fly into battle with the real thing, a huge battle station. Chariots of Wrath is an Impressions product which follows the fortunes of a knight in pursuit of a kidnapped princess. Along the way, our hero gets to play 5 arcade games. And finally, Kenny Dalglish is a football manager game containing graphics which at the time were second to none. Okay, so today they look a bit tired, but that's the passage of time for you. A good and varied selection, and in fact no 2 games alike in this one. Super value and not bad games either.
Domark Tengen present Cyberball. This is Cyberball, American football at its most violent, full of colliding metal and exploding shrapnel. A coin-op conversion from the fabulous arcade game, Cyberball is a fast and furious game, full of exploding action. Choose your team from the likes of the Los Angeles Assassins and the New York Enforcers. Select from over 100 offensive and defensive plays. The number of tactical plays to be made is staggering. You can even select timeouts and replacements for weak or demolished players. Cyberball offers you the most incredible challenge. Pit 2 of these immense cyborg teams against each other and watch the sparks fly. Billowing smoke identifies robots near breakdown. The challenge of the game lies in working out the right tactics to annihilate the opposing teams. Fit the huge selection of plays to the right conditions and you could be a winner. Make the wrong selection and you'll be crushed. For the offensive game, select from running plays, option plays and pass plays. Choose the defensive games to use short, medium and long plays. Head to head, metal on metal, it's a fight to the finish. It's football in the 21st century. Cyberball is available for the ST, Amiga, PC, Spectrum, Commodore and Amstrad.
Hammer Fist. Hammer Fist is the new hard-hitting action game from Activision via Vivid Image. It follows the fortunes of a bionic man who is out to get the evil dictators who created him. They want him to destroy loads of do-gooders to further their cause, but he doesn't want to do it. It makes you wonder if they made him, why they couldn't make him want to do the job too. Still, such ideas of reality soon fade as you smash your way into the world of Hammer Fist. You alternate between 2 characters in the game, Hammer Fist himself and his female partner, Metallicis. The characters have life force gauges, which must not reach 0 or the character fades out. The meters can be pushed up again by picking up letters as you kill enemies. Well, sorry, but this is a poorly thought out game, despite the good graphics, and doesn't really hold your interest for very long. Italy 1990. There are a number of soccer games which have been revived or revamped to tie in with soccer's big tournament, but a few have been specially written. Among them is Italy 1990, written for US Gold by the popular Tiertex team. The stuff in the box includes an excellent file of World Cup facts, so you've got lots to read to get you in the mood. The game simulates the World Cup tournament from start to finish and allows 2-player and 1-player friendly matches to train up for the main event. In the World Cup itself, you can only play against the computer, but get to choose a team to play for, formations and individual team members. There are free kicks, corners and throw-ins, although most of these are automatic. You can kick at different strengths depending on how hard you hit the button, and tackle too. But watch out, because there's a ref, and if you hit too hard, you get a yellow card. It's a very playable game, but has no free kicks or penalties that we could see, and the goalkeeper runs outside his area and kicks the ball when he shouldn't be able to. Also, there's no break at half-time, so there's no rest from each game. Taken as a whole, though, you've got a good solid game and a real flavour of the World Cup. Impossible. A long time ago, Monty Mole was Gremlin's most famous son. Now it's the 90s, and the mole is back, bigger and better than ever before. All the Monty Mole games were platform games, as you may recall, and so is the new Mole game. But he himself is somewhat different. He's bigger and more muscular. He wears a cape. He's got his underpants over his tights. He's a super mole. Designed by the same programming team behind such platform hits as Rick Dangerous and Switchblade, Impossible follows Monty's adventures through 5 levels and a number of different worlds. Rather than the usual tactic of avoiding the enemy, a la Manic Miner, you have superpowers so you can do them over instead. You must collect treasure and basically just make it to the end of the last level. Platform games have been enjoying a bit more interest after a long rest, and so Monty Mole's newest outing looks like having a lot of success. Brilliant. And now on Action Screenplay, it's time for the video game charts over the last month. And this time around, there's a bumper crop of new entries. So let's dive in. Dropping 1 place from last month's number 9, it's Ghostbusters 2. Replacing them at 9, it's the new Domark incentive entry, Castle Master. Flying low into the number 8 slot, it's Activision's Bomber. Domark again, this time at 7 with Atari coin-op smash, Clags. Smash through the galaxy to 6th position, it's Activision's Warhead. Dropping 5 places to number 5, it's Cute Little Rainbow Islands. Staying at 4 and still heavily armed, it's Rainbow Arts with X Out. Punching straight in at 3, it's Activision again with Hammer Fist. Flying close to the top is F-29 Retaliator. And yes, it's Mike Singleton's epic Midwinter at number 1.
You got it!
Ultima 6. The original Ultima game by Lord British was over 10 years ago. Now the final part of the story, Ultima 6, is brought to you by Mindscape. You begin the game as a person in the 20th century, watching MTV and wondering if there isn't more to life. Of course, you soon realize the sense of the old phrase, be careful what you wish for, as you are sucked into the world of Ultima to do battle against 4 forces of evil. The graphics in Ultima games have always been state-of-the-art for their time. 10 years ago, of course, the people in the game were just simple character graphics jerking across the screen. Of course, now we're used to high-res animated graphics, and so that's what Ultima provides. The game is much easier to play than the others, too, and so being more interesting to people not used to role-playing games. The style is much more light and easygoing, and the game is utterly massive. On the PC, it eats up a whole box of discs, and so be sure it'll chew a few good Amiga and ST discs too. But watch out for the addiction. It'll get you, and you won't escape.
What has solid 3D graphics, uses superb animated effects, has bats in the belfry and monsters lurking in the cellars, a captive prince or princess, challenges you to explore an atmospherically eerie castle. Castle Master, the action-adventure guaranteed to keep you on your toes. Set in 16th century England, the game revolves around two objectives. The main plot being to rescue a captive prince or princess from one of the 4 castle towers. No mean feat with numerous floors and rooms to each tower. You may be able to pinpoint the general direction by listening for the cries of help. Spirits hinder your progress every step of the way. Exploring your surroundings is vital. Messages and clues can be found if you care to read them. Keys open up locked doors and chests, and food must be eaten to keep up your strength. Crawl under low tables and into low entrances. Run down the seeming miles of corridors and take a stroll around the castle courtyard. However, there is more to this castle than first appears. In the first puzzle, finding a way to lower the drawbridge means a careful search of the castle surround. Once inside, take care not to get lost when you penetrate to the bowels of the keep. The initial puzzles are fairly simple to unravel, but as time goes by and you travel deeper into vast complex of rooms, corridors and tunnels, you'll have to keep your wits about you to solve each new problem. Luckily, normally more than one solution can be found. Featuring an advanced form of Incentive's popular freescape techniques, the graphics are precise and a delight to behold from any angle. Couple with that, scores of locations and some real mind-blowing brain teasers, Castle Master is guaranteed to keep you hooked to your computer for hours. Not a game to be treated lightly. Castle Master is available for the Amiga, ST, Commodore, Spectrum, Amstrad and IBM PC.
Escape from Singe's Castle. Once again, we plunge headfirst into the animated laserdisc world of Disney animator Don Bluth, this time with Dragon's Lair 2, Escape from Singe's Castle. Having done away with the fire-breathing Singe in the last game, Dirk the Daring must now escape from the castle, taking an altogether different route to the one he came along at first. He must go through tilting rooms with melting floors, he must run along crumbling bridges, he must fight off huge sword-wielding lizards. On the Amiga, it's a very fast and colourful game and has many improvements over the original Ready-Soft laser conversions. Firstly, it runs in 512K, like Space Ace, but unlike all the others, it's happy to multitask along with other programs. It has a special fast loading routine, which means less time waiting for the graphics to load, and it has more room for sound, having been compressed into memory. All in all, Singe's Castle is a much more enjoyable game and much easier to get into. A first-class product with a first-class price, about £45. Tips.
Space Ace.
Space Ace. Trying hard to get all the right moves for Space Ace can be very tiring. If you want to see all the levels in the game, just begin the game as normal. Put it into pause mode by typing the P key, put the caps lock key on, and then type DODEMODEXTER, and then press return. That's the words Do Demo Dexter without any spaces. Then press P again, and the game will run through to the end scene, only stopping to ask you for the right discs. To beat Forgotten Worlds, simply type the letters ARC whilst holding down one of the shift keys, and then press Help to start. And then for the rest of the game, all you have to do is press L to skip a level, N to go to the next level, and pressing S will take you straight to the shop. Ninja Warriors. Try these cheat phrases on the Amiga version of Ninja Warriors after putting on the caps lock. The Terminator. Skippy. Monty Python. Steve Austin. A Small Step for a Man. May the Force be with you. Cheddars. Warp Factor 1, Mr. Sulu. And how about these extra ones for the ST, typed in whilst holding down the Alt key? A Small Step for a Man, with no space between small and step. Eat to the Beat. Genesis of the Daleks. Casablanca. Escape from Singe's Castle. Do you want to get through the first 3 screens and escape from Singer's Castle? Okay, let's go. In scene 1, the tilt room, pull down when the room begins to tilt. When Dirk lands and the tiles start to fall away, push up and then up again. Then push left or right towards the door when Dirk jumps clear. In scene 3, the crumbling walkway, just jump up twice for each repeat of the sequence. Draken. Many of you will be having trouble with the complex and challenging adventure game Draken. To give yourself some extra points and characteristics, type this on the setup screen when asked for the player's name. 314-15927 on one line and supervisor on the next. You may be interested to know that you can pause the game using the F10 key. This is handy for holding the game for a second while you have to refer to the instruction book. Fighting soccer. To give you a fighting chance at finishing fighting soccer, why not try this cheap and cheerful little tip? Whilst playing the game, shoot at either goalpost and you will be awarded a goal. Of course, you'll be awarded a goal if you get it between the posts, but this is useful to know, especially if your opponent doesn't know this trick. Midwinter was one of the biggest games of this last year, and not just because it sold more copies than many others either. It's vast and the gameplay is so complex it would take up a whole videotape to give you all the possible tips. So here's this month's Midwinter tips. In the first hours of the game, it's vitally important to recruit as many people as you can. You must get a good team together as quickly as possible so as to get the best advantage over the enemy. When you've got enough people, you must head for a garage and get a snow buggy to get around on, as this is the fastest. The best number of people to have in a team is between 10 and 12. Smaller numbers can move unseen by the enemy, and larger numbers can cover more ground, but 10 to 12 is really the optimum number. The enemy will dispatch troops and planes to get you if you make too much noise and are too conspicuous, so keep your troop movements quiet and make sure you keep the element of surprise. Watch out for more Midwinter tips in the next all-action edition of Action Screenplay. F-29 Retaliator. Everyone can fly a state-of-the-art combat jet with F-29 Retaliator, but as you always find with really good flight simulators, landing is a much more difficult problem. Fortunately for you, there is a cheat mode for beginners. Simply sign in as a colonel and give yourself the name THE space DIDY space MEN. Then you must accept a mission. Now you play the game as normal, but when you want to land, you can simply press the Enter key on the keyboard. X out. There are a huge mound of tips for increasing your money on crossout, but here are just 2 of them. Choose a ship and then drag the invulnerability device under the laser cannon to your ship and load it. Then take it off again, and your money will go up 500. Do this as many times as you like, and you can get as much money as you like. You can get more money in one go if you click on the satellite device and click it above the head of the trash monster. This starts you off with 500,000. You can even add to that figure by doing the invulnerability trick again.
You got it!
F-29 Retaliator. F-29 Retaliator was a game which inspired much anticipation in the game-buying public. Everyone wanted to jump into the cockpit and burn around the sky in this 2-plane, 95-mission flight and combat simulator. The 2 planes in question are the Grumman F-29 of the title, plus a bonus craft in the shape of the Lockheed F-22. The F-29 is a fabulous plane, being of the experimental short takeoff and vertical landing, or STOVL type. The wings are swept forward, and so are you as you cruise around the skies over the USA in a plane that few pilots have flown. The aircraft is a bit of an enigma, and will probably never see any active service in real life, but you can be sure it sees lots of action in this simulator. The Lockheed, on the other hand, is an excellent example of state-of-the-art firepower. 688 attack sub. Electronic Arts are famous for all sorts of things, but we wouldn't have said that sub-battle simulators was high on the list. But lately, EA have been into all kinds of exciting new things, and 688 is most definitely exciting. You are the commander of a nuclear sub, and this feeling is conveyed with lifelike graphics and sound, some digitized, some rendered in 3D, and some 2D. You really do feel as though you are there, right in the hot seat, with all kinds of weapons at your disposal, even nuclear ones. The missions are quite hard, as not much help is forthcoming from the instruction book about how you must finish the missions. This means you learn a lot of high-tech naval warfare very fast, if you want to survive. A little complex perhaps, but plenty for the strategy addict to get their teeth into.
F-29 Retaliator. F-29 Retaliator, the ultimate flight simulator. Based on a forward-wing fighter still in development, this futuristic aerial treat offers a choice of 2 aircraft and 4 battle scenarios. Log in, choose your fighter, arm your plane, join your squadron, select your scenario, and you're away. Aerial combat, strategic bombings, interactive ground-based battles, seagoing carriers. The list of features is endless. Real-time cockpit displays such as a true radar enhance the realistic feel of the simulation. Technically superb, visually stunning, Retaliator will be considered the best flight sim for a long, long time. Designed and developed by Digital Image Design.
Combo Racer. Track racing games are always popular, and Gremlin obviously know this. So Combo Racer is a combo motorcycle racing game with all-important 2-player mode, which obviously wants to be the next pole position. As you no doubt recall, Pole Position was an old Atari game which set the stage for a lot of other 2-player games. Each player governed the movements of his own on-screen counterpart in the top and bottom halves of the screen. The action proceeded in parallel, with each player seeing the game from his own perspective. Combo Racer is very nice from this aspect, featuring very fast racing action. But the quibble is with the animation of the sprites, which seem a little bit wooden somehow. Still, if you're a real racing fan, such technical faults won't spoil your enjoyment of this 8-track game. There is even an editor to allow you to create your own tracks, so you'll never run out of races.
The Lost Patrol. It had been a long stint, but boy, were we glad to be going home. 7 weary survivors looking forward to a cup of real coffee and Mom's apple pie. We thought the chopper ride back was going to be no problem, but were we ever wrong? Just over the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a stray shot hit the tail prop. The chopper crash landed, and the 7 of us left had been dumped into a DMZ, and we had to try getting back to our lines. It wasn't the booby traps of the nightlife raids that had us spooked, but entering a village we may consider friendly only to find that it was a cover for a guerrilla faction was one of the things that helped our insomnia. As leader of this ragged platoon, it was my job to keep up the morale, but when you got a psycho in your squad, you really got your work cut out. So as well as leading these guys back to friendly lines through the jungles and paddy fields, I gotta figure out who the psycho is. The Lost Patrol. History in the making.
Wipeout. You remember the Light Cycles game in the Disney film Tron? Well, Wipeout by Gonzo Games is a sort of updated version of that scenario. Instead of the light cycles of the movie, you have a unique jet-powered surfboard, and as you and your opponent move around the arena, you leave a wall of energy behind you. You must avoid or jump the walls, or you get dematerialized. Obviously, as the game goes on, the arena gets crowded with walls, so you have to stay sharp to avoid wiping out. Wipeout is the first program by new outfit Gonzo Games, and a very slick piece of software it is too, with a lot of good design and playability in it. The sounds are good, the animation very professional, and all in all, a very interesting game. You can also play two-player tournaments other than playing the computer, and as always, this is the best option. In two-player mode, this is one of the most addictive games this month.
Treasure Trap. Treasure Trap from Electronic Zoo is the new swirling whirlpool arcade action game which will have you playing for hours. Sidestep stingrays, dodge crabs, elude electric eels because you're the main course of this underwater lunch. Plunge through 100 multi-level rooms, moving chests, riding barrels and chasing crustaceans to scoop up a fortune in gold. Your brass diving helmet helps you breathe, but only the mind inside can figure out the unusual paths to the gold. You can also capture friendly fish if you like and use them to help you if you're in a tight spot. Pick up keys along the way to enable you to enter new rooms, because knowing which keys to discard can make you rich. Whatever you do, make sure you buy Treasure Trap from Electronic Zoo, the new label which only produces high-quality games. Buy it today for your Amiga, ST, and PC. From the people who bought you Test Drive 2 and Grand Prix Circuit comes more action-filled computer entertainment. Watch the following sequences closely for a chance to win a great prize towards the end of the video. Gunboat. Through the war-infested rivers of Vietnam, Colombia, and Panama, you carefully maneuver your high-speed patrol boat Riverine, or PBR. Not knowing who may take a potshot at you or what ambush may be waiting for you, you continue forwards with the help of your crew on your bid to rescue POWs and bust cocaine runners. Over 20 knuckle-biting missions are brought to you in dramatic scenarios, allowing you to experience firsthand the drama of tight-quarters river combat. Gunboat, available now for the PC. All other versions to appear in the autumn. Powerboat USA. Experience the thrill and danger of traveling at speeds exceeding 200 miles an hour in an authentic 600-horsepower superboat. A special external helicopter camera gives viewers an overhead view of the race as they rip through the crashing waves. If you can avoid course obstacles and other boats that may cause you to flip or burn out an engine, you may earn the right to have the number 1 emblazoned on your boat's hull. Powerboat USA brings you 3D polygon graphics, the Miami coastline, the ability to create your own courses as well as rip-roaring speed. Powerboat USA, available for the PC, C64, ST, and Amiga in June. Beyond Top Gun Academy resides an elite echelon of pilots that are truly the best and the brightest. The Blue Angels, an acrobatic squadron of U.S. naval aviators flying FA-18s, piercing the clouds on a wing and a prayer, performing precision maneuvers that defy the laws of physics to dance with danger. Now you've made the team. Blue Angels Formation Flight Simulation takes you from ground school to the wild blue yonder. You'll perform the actual airshow maneuvers that have made the Blue Angels legends of the sky. Strap in, lower the canopy, everything you've ever experienced in flight simulation about to take a 360-degree diamond roll. Blue Angels, available now for the PC, C64, and Amiga, ST, to follow in June. Hardball 2. The best-selling baseball game of all time just got better. Effortless gameplay, authentic graphics, and good, clean, all-American sporting fun. Hardball 2 promises to provide computer baseball aficionados with realistic, true-to-the-game animations. Be a player or a manager. Choose your viewpoint from behind the batter or behind the pitcher. Player stats keep you updated on batting averages, runs scored, type of hits, strikeouts and stolen bases. Construct your own teams, make vital on-the-spot coaching decisions, or simply watch your players slide head-first or feet-first, or one of the fields make a glorious diving save. Experience baseball in its highest art form with Hardball 2, available now for the PC and the Amiga in June. The Cycles. International Grand Prix racing wraps you around the chassis of the fastest bikes ever built as you compete on the hottest circuits around the world. Will the racer in front of you blast into the lead or dump his bike trying? And what about behind you? There's a pack of hungry road warriors right on your tail. These guys chew asphalt for breakfast and burp exhaust. Accolade, the best in entertainment software. Now for your chance to win one of the 3 all-wool Accolade baseball jackets. Just answer the following questions. 1. How many missions are there in Gunboat? 2. What planes do the Blue Angels fly? 3. Which coastline does your powerboat race along? 4. Which version of Hardball 2 is about to be released? 5. What perspective do you get in The Cycles? Answers on a postcard or back of a sealed envelope to Accolade's Screenplay competition. Accolade, the Lombard Business Centre, 50 Lombard Road, London, SW11 3SU. Classics. And now the classics, where we look back at all the games you really ought to have and tell you exactly why. Here goes. Xenon 2. The ultimate blast 'em up is Xenon 2 by the famous Bitmap brothers. With its amazing graphics and soundtrack by Bomb the Bass, it's one of the most sophisticated game designs of last year. The alien creatures and horrible organic backgrounds really give the game an atmosphere all its own. Oh yes, and it's enormous fun. Falcon. Of all the flight simulators of the last year, there are 2 which really stand out from all the others. We'll tell about the other one in a moment, but first let's mention Falcon from Spectrum Hobobite. It's a complex simulation of an F-16 jet fighter. It really makes the adrenaline pump. The controls are complicated, but if you want a real simulator, then this is the one. RoboCop. The most popular game based on a film, besides Batman, must be the RoboCop game from Ocean. Based loosely on the coin-op machine of the same name, it follows RoboCop through a barrage of different levels as he blows away various lawbreakers and the evil robot ED-209. The action is hot and the atmosphere true to the film. Get it or regret it. Stunt Car Racer. As far as simulation goes, there's little to beat a flight sim. But Microprose took this idea one stage further with Stunt Car Racer. Microprose are the simulation experts, and they prove it in this scary race over dangerous wooden tracks high up in the air. You can race computer cars or a friend via a serial link, but always you get the ride of your life. Kickoff. Few sports games have grabbed the attention of the games world at large quite like Kickoff. This game is single-handedly responsible for more time off work than any other single game program. Computer magazine offices have special breaks to allow tournaments, and no other football game comes even close. Make extra time for it. Silkworm. Shoot-'em-ups come and go, but few pack as much of a punch as Silkworm. Most shoot-'em-ups have a few bullets flying around the place and a bit of an explosion here and there, but few shoot-'em-ups have as much of a mental and physical barrage as Silkworm. Like most successful games, the 2-player option makes it great, but whether you're the chopper or the jeep, you get a good blast. Colossus 10. Chess programs have been around since the beginning of computer time, and over the years they've got more sophisticated. These days, they play competitions to find out the best computer chess game, and some names always find their way into the winners list. Colossus 10 is one such game, a brilliant chess game which will give you a run for your money if you're a grandmaster. Bomber. We mentioned another flight simulator that's worth a light, didn't we? Well, here it is. Active Activision's Bomber. The reason Bomber is so good, apart from its close simulation of flight and external views that take your breath away, is that you get to fly a huge range of aircraft. You can choose from NATO, US and Warsaw Pact planes, and all of them are heavy-duty stuff. Be a Top Gun with the best. Run the Gauntlet. Based on the popular TV show of the same name, Run the Gauntlet was another hit for fun-loving Ocean. In it, you get to emulate the people on the show by driving all manner of interesting motorized vehicles and skidding and crashing all over the shop. Lots of variation and lots of fun. Forgotten Worlds, another fabulous coin-op conversion from US Gold. From the team that brought you Crackdown, Forgotten Worlds is the story of two big burly guys, as it always is, who are flying over the Forgotten Worlds, shooting at aliens and collecting money for extra weapons. A classic arcade format with a new twist. Pac-Mania. When a classic game gets a modern twist, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. What you see with Pac-Mania is a classic game which has been not only given a new twist, but an entirely new lease of life. The game has been made 3D, but keeps the original ideas. Although the game is simple to learn, it is really quite hard to finish. Turbo Outrun. Driving games became more successful in the arcades a couple of years ago, and one game was responsible. Outrun was one of the most popular driving games of the last 2 years, and driving against the clock has become a useful gimmick in every driving game since. Turbo Outrun is the latest in a long line of Outrun updates, and it still glues you to your seat. Hard Driving. The best 3D driving game has to be Hard Driving. The sound of that big engine throbbing under the bonnet. The other cars racing away from you at the starting grid. It's a true simulator where you can drive anywhere you like, even if it loses you the game. Another thing that looks brilliant, easy to learn, but hard to win. Gunship. There are lots of aircraft simulators, but there's only one helicopter simulator, and that's Gunship from Microprose. In fact, it's the ultimate helicopter simulator, because it's not just some silly domestic chopper puttering businessmen to work. No, it's a fully armed warship, and you have to fly it in combat situations. The effect is electrifying. So that's all from us. Join us next month on Action Screenplay for more video game action, live on your TV screen.